Hi there, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm making a card and I'm going to try to create a sunset background. So I'm using my distress inks and I've really sped up this process because if I didn't you'd probably be sitting here for quite a while watching. But anyway, I started with my Wild Honey distress ink. Now I'm using my Carved Pumpkin. They're both some really nice warm colors. I'm moving on to Barn Door. I'm getting some red in there. And over that barn door, I'm using some aged mahogany, which is a nice red color, or dark red color, should I say. Anyway, over that aged mahogany, I'm using some Dusty Concord, which is a nice dark purple. And I'm really just trying to go from light colors all the way up to dark colors, just trying to simulate what a sunset would look like. So I'm just really working those colors in, trying to blend them together. I don't want any patchy, streaky looking spots, so I'm just trying to get them to blend. And on the very top of my tag, I'm taking some black soot. I just want it to look dark, so it looks like the sun is setting and it's getting dark outside. And I'm taking a little bit of that black soot and I'm just inking around the edges. I just wanted a better defined edge on this tag. Now I'm taking all of my colors, the same colors I used, and I'm working from top to bottom, just going back over it, making sure I have some nice colors and that it all blends together well. So I have all my blending done on my tag for my background. Now I'm moving on to the pieces I'm going to put on top. I'm using this airplane and it's from a Tim Holtz Sizzix dies. I think these are his mover and shaker dies, and I don't really have the right setup with my Sizzix to be able to cut these, but I managed to anyway, and I'll show you how I did that a little later on in the video. I don't know if I'd really recommend you trying the way I did it because I don't want you to damage your Sizzix or any of your pieces, but I'll go ahead and show you how I did it anyway. So I just covered that airplane with some black soot distress ink. I just want it to look like a silhouette against the sunset. And now I'm just right now, I'm reaching for a white gel pen and I'm going to be putting on some little dots in the sky. I want them to look like stars. So I'm just going in a bunch of random places, putting some white dots down to make a starry sky background. And I am making some of the white dots a little bit bigger than the other ones. Just want to get a variation of sizes in the stars. And I'm mostly just putting stars on the darker areas because you're not going to see them down where it gets lighter anyway. So now I'm bringing in my Sizzix. I'm going to show you how I cut this cloud in this airplane. I already have a cloud cut. I wanted another one. So you can see here I'm just putting the die down between my two plates, and I have two embossing folders that I put over it. I needed more pressure to cut this, and it's not a foolproof system. You kind of have to work at it a little while to actually get it to cut. And I have to use the right combination of thickness of my embossing folders. So if you're going to try something like that, do not try to force it through your Sizzix machine because you could damage something. So I wouldn't recommend that method. But anyway, so I have my cloud cut, and I'm actually going to use some Pearl X pigment powder. And I picked up a pack of this at a thrift store for $3, and I have all these powders, and I never really learned the correct way to use them. So I've been experimenting, and I'm just going to use a little bit of this yellow pigment powder and do some embossing over it. So I'm brushing on a little bit of this embossing powder, and you probably saw before I put it on that I did put some Versamark ink on my die cut, and that just helps the powder to stick. And now I'm putting a little bit of clear embossing powder over that pigment. Now I was going to go ahead and save the extra powder, but I decided not to because it did mix with that pigment, and I didn't want to put that back into my embossing powder. So I'm just showing you a little bit close up of what it looks like. It's not a perfect color, but I just kind of wanted the clouds to look like they were reflecting some of that color in the sunset. So I'm also going to take some of my distress inks and just add some color over the top of these clouds. Even though they have a little bit of that Pearl-X pigment going on, I wanted to add a little bit more color. So I'm taking some of that wild honey, and I'm just going over the whole thing. And the look that you get after you apply distress inks over embossing powder is actually kind of a cool look too, so I really enjoyed that. Now I'm just digging out my aged mahogany, and I'm going to put a little bit of that on the top of these clouds. I'm just doing it on the top because where I'm going to place it on the tag is kind of where the colors go transition from the orange and the yellow to the red. So I'm just putting it on top so it kind of blends in with the background. I'm just taking my ATG and I'm putting a little bit of tape on the back of my clouds so I can go ahead and stick them down. And sometimes my tape adhesive kind of peeks out from behind there, so I just always kind of wrap it behind so you can't see it. Now this cloud in front, I was just going to adhere it down flat, but I decided I wanted some dimension on it. So I went ahead and I grabbed a few of my foam squares and I put those on the back just to pop it up a little bit. Now I'm going to put my airplane over the clouds, and I decided to put some foam squares on that as well, and then just some tape adhesive on the main body of the airplane, and I'm putting it over that cloud that I popped up. So I just have some foam adhesive on the wings and the tail just to make it the same height as the cloud. Now I just thought I wanted a few more stars, so I'm taking my gel pen and just adding a few more here and there. I'm just giving you a closer look at what that background looks like with the stars. Now I took a little bit of twine from Canvas Corp brand, and I'm just wrapping it around the top. I'm just wrapping it through the hole several times just to give it a nice, give it some texture and a nice wrapped look. I was going to add an eyelet to the little hole on the top, but the eyelets that I have were too small, they didn't fit. And in case you're wondering, I did cut these tags with my Cricut. So I forget the exact dimensions. I think they're about 6 inches high by 3 inches wide or something like that. They're a little bit taller and skinnier than your average A2 size card. Now that I have the strings all tied on the top, I'm going to take those two little tails and I'm just going to pull them apart and unravel them a little bit. I just like the texture of the unraveled string, so I think it just adds a little bit more interest to your projects. Now I did go ahead and I cut another cloud because I thought it just needed one more, and I colored it a little bit darker than the golden ones because I knew it was going to be up higher in the sky. So I put a little bit more aged mahogany and some dusty concord on that one so it would blend in a little bit better with the background. And I'm just taking my scissors and trimming off the edges that are hanging off the sides. Now this is some puffy stickers that I got from Fancy Pants Designs. This is their Atwell collection, and I'm just going to use that little sticker that says live. I thought it blended in well with this tag, and the sentiment live maybe kind of goes with a travel theme. So I'm just trying to decide where I want it to go, and I ended up deciding that the bottom left corner, it looked the best there. So I just went ahead and I stuck it down there. So I'm almost done with the card, but I did want to go ahead and put some black sequins on just to give it a little bit more bling. And I'm adding these with my Tombow Mono multi-liquid glue. I really like this glue. It works great for a lot of different purposes, and I like the fine tip applicator because it doesn't make quite as much mess as some of my other glues have in the past. I'm just putting little dots here and there and then sliding the sequins on top of it. And that pretty much finishes up the card. That's all I'm going to do to it. So I will take pictures of it. I'll have a picture here at the end and some more pictures over at my blog if you want to hop over there and take a look. I'll also have product links to all of the products that I used to create this card. One last thing here I forgot to mention is that I am going to take some of my silver Wink of Stella and just brush it over the whole airplane. I just wanted to give it a little bit of shimmer. Now I did mention that this is silver Wink of Stella, so you can't really tell as I'm brushing it on, but if you were to brush it on white cardstock, it would have a little bit of a pigment to it. It would color your cardstock a little bit silver. So you don't really see it when you brush it over the black, but it is silver. So I hope you can see a little bit of the glitter that's going on there. I just thought it looked really nice. Maybe the airplane was shining in the sunset. So anyway, that's about it for the card, or the tag, excuse me. Like I said, I have more information over at my blog. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you will hit like or comment or subscribe and share. And thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again in future videos. Bye!